Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to today's report. So we're just going to go over some of the key moves and some of the current price action areas that we're watching on a couple of the markets. So we're just looking at the ASX daily at the moment. We'll just zoom in on that one. So the ASX had a continuation of its fantastic trading week and start to 2020. This sell-off around Christmas is now just a distant memory. We can see how much drive buyers have had since they broke that resistance point that we spoke about earlier in the week, and we can just see that strong 4-day rally that's going on at the moment. We've added a really healthy 2.17% since the open on Monday, and for now, yes, solid momentum is with the buyers. Now, one thing we want to make a note of, and it's not a signal, it's not anything other than basically a very minor warning. I look at it, but many people may not really take heed of it or care about it or give it any attention. But one thing I do look at is once price has moved a very strong distance away from the moving averages. I'm a believer that markets do like to return to average value points. Some people do believe in this, some people don't, but yeah, I do subscribe to that fact. You can see with moving averages that at some point in time, once they break away to a certain point, they like to come back. So it's something I'm just keeping an eye on at the moment due to this level. Now, again, I stress that it's in no way, shape or form a signal. It's just basically telling you that, hey, price could be getting extended now, or maybe it's not. So it's just something that I do take note of once it happens. But it's no surefire signal, because we've seen markets travel away from a moving average for solid periods of time before that return happens. But it does start to make you just to think, like, are we closing in or getting closer to a potential pullback? And with the ASX, this has been a pretty, it's virtually not a straight line, but it's getting there. So once things start to get to a parabolic state as well, that's another slight, not warning, but just something that makes you say, hey, have a look at this. Now, we'll just go over to the Dow, the US 30. We can see the US 30 hit new records last night, closed above 29,000 for the first time. The trade deal has been suggested as a key driver for this, but we all know that the trade deal is going to be signed, and it's just a continuation higher. There were a few comments this morning. Kudrow said that the current trade deal could add some growth to the US GDP in 2020 and 2021, and there was a word out as well that on trade deal phase 2 we could see a reduction in tariffs that are currently imposed on China. So just keep an eye on that as we get closer to that. Now, just news-wise, we'll get to that in a moment. We just want to have a quick look at some of the currencies. Now, we were looking at the Aussie dollar for a potential sell yesterday. It did move down, but it did pull back, and we saw this on the euro the other day. Currently, at the moment, we saw a test of this high, which has failed, and we're just seeing price basically seeing in the midpoint. So at the moment, it's basically sideways, and the Aussie's just looking for something to give it a bit of drive. Now, we still have this trend break here that we were watching, and we were thinking that we're going to get a continuation down. After it did make that move last night, it was quickly stopped by buyers and returned back to this midpoint. So we'll just have to keep an eye on the Aussie. It still has some bearish tones to it, but momentum looks to be drying up for what sellers were trying to achieve. So if we would want to see buyers break above this point to suggest that we're going to have another impulse higher. And onto the euro, a similar story. After that was rejected, we saw another impulse higher. There is some supply resistance around this point, but at the moment the trend looks to be trying to remain in play. And if we have another higher low, like a small move down, which finds support anywhere from this level up to this level, and then a new move higher, we'll say it's a higher low continuation in process. So now attention to the moves to the dollar CAD. The dollar CAD looked like it was going to have another attempt to break that high yesterday. It didn't. It actually fell back down and closed lower. So now we're looking for a possibility of a new rally that's faded and fails, and we could we're looking to see if we could get another continuation lower, but this is the point that would need to be broken by sellers, this area here. So we want to see a close below that to really set up an idea that we can see a new move lower. And just moving on to oil. Oil's in an interesting spot. This support here is continuing to develop. So 58 to 57.90 is the area we're watching just to see if it can maintain support. So currently we do have a trend break here, and we would want to see a bit more evidence from buyers before we'd start thinking that we have a new leg higher starting up. And it would still be correctional as well, so we'd want to see a move up, then a new higher low to suggest that something bigger was going on. If this fails and we see a new close below this level, we'd be looking for further downside. And basically we just finish up with gold. Gold actually held its rally overnight, so that for now looks like a support level is coming to play from 1545.60, and we're now starting to see some pressure now on this trend, and we just want to see if this is a descending triangle continuation. We'd want to see a new move up just to show that buyers hold momentum. So that's what we're taking a look at at the moment. Now, coming up tonight, we have at 11:30 ECB monetary policy meeting accounts that will affect the euro, and at 12:30 AM we have US retail sales and core retail sales, which will affect the USD. So keep an eye on those two news releases if you are trading the euro and the USD. So 11:30 the ECB and 12:30 US retail sales. So until tomorrow, have a great trading day, and bye for now.